Hey everybody, this is Kathy from Kadel Handmade, and I wanted to welcome you to my video tutorial today. Today I'm giving you a free tutorial on how to add toppers to your tea towels. So in this video tutorial, here's the one that I'm making. This is a larger size tea towel, and I go over the measurements in the instructions. And then you have this little band here, and then this is where it would drape over your towel bar. Now this won't work if you have a towel hook, only if you have a bar, or if you have like a bar on your stove or range, you could use it there as well. But here is our towel topper for the holidays. So I hope you enjoy this video tutorial, and let's get to it. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to use this tea towel. This is a pretty large tea towel. It measures 26 inches by about 27 and a half. It is a directional tea towel, so I will show you the things that you might want to keep in mind and or change so that your material, both of your towels are still going in the same direction. If you are using a tea towel that does not have directional fabric, you won't have to worry about that at all. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to fold it in half, and then along this folded edge, we are just going to cut that right in half. Okay, so now we have two equal parts. Now, as you can see, the cut edge here at the top makes the design upside down, so I will address this one in just a second. For this one, this is the correct way around. As you can see, there is extra white on the bottom. If you don't want yours to have that at the bottom, because when we get to this one and make it, as you can see, this one won't have it at the bottom. If you want yours to match, then I would recommend just trimming off this white edge here at the bottom. For this one, I'm not going to worry about it. I think it'll be just fine. I'm not planning on having these two towels hanging right next to each other, so I don't think anybody will even notice. Okay, so I'm going to set this one to the side for a moment. And then with this one, we're going to fold it in half. So this is the cut edge here at the top. I'm just giving it a little finger press. I'm going to open it up to that mark. Actually, let me do it this way. Okay, I'm going to use my heat erasable pen to mark a spot right there at the center. All right, then from that center mark, I'm going to measure out 4 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, make another one, and then 3 inches. Okay, center mark, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now how we want to fold this, and you could always do the same marks along the bottom, but I'm using my grid here on my cutting mat, so I think I'll be just fine. We want to, from the center mark, we're going to take that first measurement and bring it here, fold it here to the center. So we kind of folded it in on itself right there. And then we're going to come over to this other one, grab this one, and fold it in to the center. Okay, now from the 3-inch mark, we're going to take the edge of the towel, again fold it over, and then here is the 3-inch mark, and we're going to come up to that edge and fold it over, and this size towel should match up level, same on the sides. It should cover the whole back side. Okay, now I'm just going to flip it over to the front, and I'm going to add a couple clips here at the top to help hold it in place. Okay, so that's how we want our towel to be folded. Now let me show you, if you are using the directional print, and this is now your cut edge, which is going to be, you want it to still be directional, so you want this to be the bottom. What you will have to do then is trim, sorry, not trim. We're going to fold this over by 1/4 inch and then fold it again by 1/4 inch. You can take it to the iron board or add some clips. I'm just going to add some clips here to hold mine in place. And then once you get it clipped in place, you're going to sew straight across this bottom edge. At just under 1/4 inch. So you want to sew, this is up to you if you want to sew from the back side or from the front side, but you want to sew close to this folded edge here. So you're catching most of the seam allowance in your stitch line. So you're going to sew close to this edge here. So that could be 1/4 inch, could be 3/8 of an inch, depending on how you folded your seam allowance. So now that I have that, I'm going to take it to the machine. I'm just going to stitch a hemline right here along this folded edge, and then I'll be back to show you the next step. Okay, to create the topper, we are going to need 2 pieces of fabric, and I have interfaced mine with a woven interfacing. This is SF101, but any woven interfacing will do. If you have a thin cotton woven fabric, I recommend interfacing the back. If yours is a little thicker, then you can skip this part. But you will need 1 piece here that is 7 inches wide by 15 inches tall. And then you will have another piece, this is for the band, that is 7.5 inches wide by 8 inches tall. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the longer piece. We're going to fold it in half, right sides together. Just give it a little finger press here at the fold, and then we're going to make a little snip about 1/8 of an inch or so, 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch in on each side, just a little snip to mark the centers. Coming over here to our band, we're going to flip it over, fold it in half, and then we're going to open it up, fold that in half to that center mark, fold the other side in to the center mark, and then fold it in half again. So we're enclosing the raw edges. We have a little sandwich here, and I'm going to clip along the folded edge. Okay, once I get that clipped, I'm going to sew all the way around the outside of this at 1/8 of an inch. Okay, once we get that top stitched all the way around, you're going to grab your other piece, so the main part of your topper, right where you have those little notches, you're going to line up your band, the bottom edge of your band, so the folded edge here is going to line up with the edge of right where that little notch is. And I'm not going to use clips, I'm just going to go ahead and base stitch this in place. Okay, and then coming over to the other side, as you can see, the band is wider, and that is by design. So we want to give a little room for the towel. So lining up the edge again with that little notch that we cut, and we're going to baste this side in place. All right, next we're going to fold it right sides together, and we want it snug right up against the bottom of this band. So right where our snip is should be the center, and we're going to fold it right over that band. And we're going to sew down the side about 2.5 inches. We just want to come a little bit past where that band is. And we're sewing at 1/2 of an inch seam allowance. And then we're going to come over to the other side, push that band in towards the middle so it's not in our way. Again, folding it right over the edge of that band, making sure it's nice and snug. And again, 1/2 inch seam allowance. We are going to sew the same here down about 2.5 inches. All right, so that's how it's looking so far. Our little band is tucked inside. Now, if you have a directional print, you want to use the one that is the top, so the right side up. This one doesn't really have a direction, but I think I like this one better for the top. So I'm going to lay this down and then grabbing the towel, so that top edge that we clipped, I'm going to center it on this panel, clip it in place. There should be about 1/2 of an inch on either side. It's probably mine's probably around 3/8, but it should be around 1/2 of an inch. And then we can baste this in place. Okay, so that's how it's looking. Now we're going to take our towel. Here, let me trim this little string real quick. Okay, now we're going to take our towel and roll it up. And then bring the bottom edge up to this top edge. And we're going to match that at that top straight edge. Just going to add a couple clips here. And then we're going to sew across, connecting this all together at 1/2 inch seam allowance. All right, now the next thing we need to do is fold over this edge to meet the edge of the towel. So whatever the gap is, like I said, mine was probably about 3/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to fold this fabric down so that it kind of wraps over the edge of where I can see where my towel is. And I'm going to tack this in place. And then on the other side, I'm going to fold it up, doing the same thing, same seam allowance, and tack this side in place. All right, so we have our two little edges folded in. Now what we need to do is reach into this opening on the side, pull our towel out, and then turn the rest of the topper through. Okay, once you get it pulled out, just kind of pull that top band there to make it nice and flat on each end. And then right where we have these openings now in the side, we're going to tuck that seam allowance in. And I'm going to add some clips to hold it in place. Same on this side, I'm just going to pull it, tuck the seam allowance in, and clip that in place. Okay. Now we want to make sure the band part is towards the front of our towel. So where the folded edge is here, we want the band to be at the front. What we're going to do is we're going to top stitch around this now, not on the band, just on this back part, and that will close these gaps and give us a nice finish. So we want to keep our little band out of the way. So we're going to push everything under your foot and then pulling that band out of the way. This part up here at the top gets a little tricky. We're going to line it up right here at the edge and we're going to top stitch. So starting here in the middle at the top, and again keeping your band out of the way, we're going to stitch to the end. All right, so right there, right where your band is, I'm going to turn, and now I'm going to top stitch straight down the side. So I'm top stitching at 1/8 of an inch. All right, and then when I get to the bottom edge, just kind of make sure that your towel is pulled snug and that your topper is pulled up so you have a nice seam there. And we're top stitching now across this edge. All right, turn. Now we're going to just top stitch the rest of the way around. All right, so that's how it looks. Now you're going to flip your band over to the back side, and then this is how your towel is going to lay. So this part can be a little tricky, a little like origami, but you're going to flip it over your towel bar, or your handle on your stove, or if you have a towel bar like on your cabinet, you're going to flip it over that and then just pull it down like that. And that is how your towel looks. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish making up the other one, and then I'll be back to show you the finished set. All right, so let me show you the finished set. I have a set of these reindeer. Like I said, I did not cut this off because I'm not planning on hanging them in the same place, but if you have a set like this and that bugs you, you can just trim this off and then make it look exactly the same here. So if you are using regular tea towels, non-directional, plain fabric towels, anything like that, you don't have to worry about doing the additional hem like I did on these ones, or having them be different lengths because they'll be the same size because you cut them in the middle. So that's just one little side note. So again, I have the ornaments, and then I have the set of the reindeer. Yeah, I hope you have fun making these tea towel toppers, and these also make great gifts. So if you're looking for gift ideas, you can do that as well. And they just make your kitchen look really fun. So the other thing I will say also, it's kind of hard to show since I don't have a towel rack to actually hook this on. But to remove it, it's really easy. You just grab this and you pull down and the towel comes right off. And if you like this video tutorial, please don't forget to like, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, hit that little notification bell so you know next time I have a video drop on my channel. It really does help me to grow the channel, and I truly appreciate your support. All right, I hope you have a great day and have fun sewing.